The government says a decision is yet to be made on the repatriation of Kenyans stranded in some streets in Guanzhou and other Chinese cities after being evicted from their flats. The Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary, Macharia Kamau, says those who are evicted were staying in China illegally. And while the government regrets the manner in which they were evicted, Ambassador Kamau praised Kenya's ambassador to China, Sarah Serem, for her exemplary work, even though she is yet to hold a meeting with the Chinese government or issue a statement concerning the matter.
Tumefika kwetu sisi ndio hao tumenyimwa kuingia kabisa.
These are the scenes that not only broke the hearts of many Africans but also caused uproar against the Chinese government. Many Africans, Kenyans included, took to social media to denounce the inhumane way in which Africans were being treated by the Chinese under the guise of dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. This sending a number of African countries to summon and demand for explanations from Chinese envoys based in their respective nations.
If you see Nigerian passport, it's like you are seeing Nigeria as a whole.
In Nigeria, the Speaker of the National Assembly read the Riot Act to the Chinese ambassador, saying his country would not tolerate mistreatment of Nigerians in China. In Ghana, the Minister of Foreign Affairs summoned the Chinese ambassador to express her disappointment and demand action to address the inhumane treatment.
That's how we are left.
And while Kenyans sought answers from authorities, the Kenyan ambassador to China, Sarah Serem, has remained mum. And today, several days later, the government attempted to explain just what exactly was happening.
Part of the challenge that the authorities faced is that they did not want to have many people living together in one flat. And so they were put in a situation where their instructions which were interpreted as eviction, which were really about social distancing.
Ambassador Macharia further explaining that those kicked out of their flats had found themselves on the wrong side of the Chinese law by being in the country illegally.
If you're living in a country unregistered and illegally, when there's a crisis, you get smoked out.
But questions concerning the inhumane way in which the operation was being conducted were largely unanswered.
We have engaged them bilaterally, yani Kenya and China. We have engaged them regionally, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, the ambassadors working together in China, saying this is unacceptable, this must be resolved. And we have engaged them continentally.
Locally, cases of Chinese nationals being in the country without proper documentation have been reported and handled through the judicial system. Why then would the Chinese government operate differently to Africans in their country?
We have asked and have demanded, and in the case of Kenyans, those who have been in touch with us directly, we have resolved every single case, even when we are dealing sometimes with illegal aliens or unregistered people. They're our people. You heard me say that earlier. So we care for them.
Doesn't evicting Africans and throwing them in the streets increase chances of the spread of the coronavirus, contrary to what the operation is supposed to achieve? So far, 100 Kenyans have been affected. And while the government is not clear as to whether there are plans to airlift them back to Kenya, Ambassador Macharia was full of praise for Ambassador Serem.
If we have an ambassador who has shown herself to be dedicated and outstanding, anybody who has followed her on social media, I'm sorry, you cannot fault that lady.
On Saturday, the African Union Commission, through its chair, Musa Faki Mahamat, met the Chinese ambassador to the AU, Liu Yaqi, and expressed concerns about mistreatment of Africans. It is not yet clear what action is likely to be taken. Nimro Tabu, Citizen TV.